So we got a lot to talk about in terms of these quarterbacks that are potentially on the move. We got free agent quarterback talk. We got trades. We got franchise tags and potential movement all over the place from the smaller guys to the big boys. And of course, Tom Brady X'd out over here, getting a little selfish on the fantasy football and NFL worlds, stepping away and not providing this man. We got a little glitch here. What's up, Tariq? Tariq in the building. Sandu. We've got Chinny in the building. Romez, Frake. Appreciate you all being here. Max. Just a little random late night live stream, and we're going to talk a little bit about the Falcons, a little bit about Drake London, a little bit about Kyle Pitts and how they can win you a league in 2023. So stand by. The Fantasy Football Show begins now.
From the FantasyFootballShow.com studios, it's the Fantasy Football Show live Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. Eastern.
What is going on, good people? Not a very long live stream tonight, but I thought I'd get on here just real briefly and talk about some of the quarterback movement. Soon this topic will be either changed drastically or it will go away. I promise you. I know a lot of you are like, we talk about this every day, Smitty. We talk about Lamar Jackson. I see the screen every day, but I promise you this will start to change and evolve. Miami is no longer going to be the number one potential landing spot. Why? Because Miami Dolphins don't appear interested in going after either Aaron Rodgers or Lamar Jackson. So at some point, we'll just take them off the board. Doesn't matter how much we love the spot. Doesn't matter how much the spot would be amazing for a signal caller that was traded from the Green Bay Packers over onto Miami, or traded from the Baltimore Ravens all over onto the Miami roster. What ends up probably happening for this Miami Dolphins squad, I will say though, is, and I wanted to talk about this in a kind of a separate video here like this one versus being lost in the middle of a 2-hour live stream, is that the Miami Dolphins may be a perfect candidate to trade for Jordan Love if Aaron Rodgers does decide to stay in Green Bay. And if Aaron Rodgers does decide to stay in Green Bay, then Jordan Love, his services will be available. Now, see, this comment, usually a Niner fan says this, so I don't know if, Cage, you're a Niner fan, but usually Niner fans say Jimmy G to Miami, Jimmy G has zero shot going to the Miami Dolphins. And I'll tell you why. Because unfortunately for the Dolphins, and you could say fortunately if you don't believe in Jimmy G like me, he's going to a situation that isn't cloudy, bro. There's no way. Jimmy G has all these options to go be a signal caller for the Bucks, be a signal caller for the Saints, for the Colts, for the Panthers, whoever. This is a cloudy situation. What's he going to do there? Sign a massive contract to be a backup quarterback? That's like, he has zero shot to go back to the Niners too, because he has his choice to go and be a lone starter and get paid a pretty nice amount of money. Why would he go to a cloudy situation where his contract price will be down? I'd say certainty, absolutely 0% chance in my mind, Cage, because of the fact that he can command whatever he wants. So this is a cloudy situation. The only way that you would see a big name player go here is if it was in a trade and a guarantee to the player that, hey, you're the starter. It's your team. And so there's just no shot that he's going, Jimmy G, to San Francisco or Miami or to a place where there's competition, hardcore competition. That would not be in his best interest. It's almost as hilarious as, and again, I appreciate you bringing up the topic because a lot of people mention it. So clearly you're not alone. But I wanted to explain that there's not a lot of shot at all. And it's crazy when people say things like Jimmy G to the Niners, like I said just a minute ago, or Derek Carr. You hear a lot of Niner fans say, what if we bring Derek Carr in? Derek Carr's not coming to the 49ers to be in a quarterback timeshare. He's going to go get $35 million a year, over $100 million guaranteed in some other location. Why on earth would he go to a team like the Niners where he wouldn't even get paid even near that amount and he'd be in a timeshare? It makes no sense at all. I know people just want to root for their teams to have certain players, but it's not going to happen. This guy, Aaron Rodgers, feels 50-50 right now to return to Green Bay or to head to the Raiders in a trade. I don't feel like the Jets are in play anymore. That's just my gut. I could be wrong. This could definitely, turn on its side and go in a different direction here, there. Every moment's different. Every piece of news kind of molds and sculpts our predictions, right? We're all guessing at this point, but I feel like the Jets are getting this guy, Derek Carr. I feel it. I feel like, the meeting between the two could have been better according to so many reports. I just don't see how Derek Carr passes on this opportunity to play with what I believe to be the number one defense in football in 2023. They're going to be the number one defense in football. They're only going to get better when their offense is better, keeping the defense fresh. And if you're Derek Carr and you played with the worst defense in the NFL, or bottom 4 defense in the NFL the entire time you were in Oakland and in Las Vegas, your entire reign in a Ravens uniform has been with a bottom 4 defense across the board in every single category. They've been garbage. You're going to pass up on having the number 1 defense in the NFL, having the rookie of the year on defense, the rookie of the year on offense, the other rookie of the year in Breece Hall, candidate that would have probably won rookie of the year over Garrett Wilson had he stayed healthy. You're going to pass on this amount of offense and that good of a defense. And if you're the Jets, you get longevity out of Carr. You get a security. Whereas if you bring Aaron Rodgers in for a year, you're playing this song and dance that the Packers have been playing every single offseason. You don't want that. So like there's this, and you're giving up draft capital, and you're paying up $60 million. And you might not be able to trade for Aaron Rodgers until after June 1, or the Green Bay Packers have to agree that they'll eat the entire $40 million cap hit. Lot of concern. Man, what a crazy couple weeks we're heading into, and I can't wait. We got the combine coming up. On Tuesday? Combine time. Let's go.
Let's go. Mashed potatoes.
Yeah, buddy.
I'm pumped about the combine. I'll tell you that right now. Your boy Smitty couldn't be more ecstatic about the combine. I'll be going live. You can bet your bottom dollar for a big portion of the combine, if not for all of the big time running back and wide receiver drills. Or I don't know how I'm going to figure out a schedule yet for the combine, but you can bet I'm going live multiple times per day for hours on end. It's gonna be a great day. Josh Allen, what are you guys saying in the chat here? Finally watch Moneyball, great movie. Okay, go watch American Underdog about Kurt Warner. That's a fantastic movie. Lamar to the Giants. I mean, is it possible? Sure, but they'd have to not franchise tag Danny Dimes, which we're hearing they're going to do. They'd have to not, they'd have to be okay with, they'd have to franchise tag Barkley or work out a long-term deal. If Danny Dimes isn't, one of them's getting franchise tagged. One of them's getting franchise tagged. That's for sure. So expect to see that. There's no way this team is not franchise tagging one of those players. The other one they got to work out a deal with. I don't think there's anything. I don't think the Giants have decided on anything yet, because the Giants are literally awaiting, one of these guys to sign. First one to sign, the other one gets tagged, unless they can sign both of them, which it doesn't look like it's even likely that they're going to sign one. Tayef, what's up, my guy? Where you been? Thomas, my guy, what's up? Pay Lamar, says Sandu. Let's open the phone lines for just a little bit. We're not going to be here long. I just wanted to jump on real quick and talk to you guys. So dial in.
Call into the show. Call into the show.
Won't be here for very long. General topic is QBs, but of course, you got a different question. You know your boy Smitty's got your back. So dial in, ask away. Let me see if I can fix this. There we go. What's up, Zach? Appreciate you being here. Andrew, I hope Minshew goes to Tampa or Atlanta. We'll see, bro. Pitt's top 3 tight end if they land Lamar. Okay, so let's get to that while we're waiting for a phone call. You guys are going to be shocked at my my Kyle Pitts video that's probably approaching very, very soon. Kyle Pitts, my guys. Kyle Pitts is, in my opinion, the number 2 or number 3 tight end in fantasy football 2023. I really don't feel like that's that bold, to be honest. You're live on the Fantasy Football Show. Who am I talking to?
What's up, Smitty? Taste.
Chase?
Taste. You call me Tice, but it's Taste.
Say it again?
Taste.
Taste. Like T-A...
Taste with an S at the end.
Okay. Taste. What's up, man?
How you doing, Smitty?
I'm going to call you...
I'm the same person that always is in the chat.
Yeah.
Hit the thumbs up button.
I have...
How you doing, man?
You know what I have in the phone for you? I've already named you. You know, I got you in the contacts because you called before. I got you as Big...
Was it Big Tate?
Big Tate.
Yes, sir. Let's do it.
Is Big Tate okay? I kind of like it.
That's perfect.
No
man.
offense to your God-given name, but I kind of like Big Tate, bro. I think we're rolling with Big Tate. All right, Big Tate, what are we cooking up, bro?
Man, I'm very excited to have at least one quarterback make that move, man. You're so right. It just needs for that one quarterback to make that move, and all the other chess pieces are going to fall right after that.
Yep, dominoes will fall.
Have you seen that there's a NFL website has the Lamar Jackson jersey number 1 for Atlanta Falcons on it?
No, but that's what I want to happen. That's what this show is wanted to happen for you know, for the last handful of weeks and really month. I just think it's such a we're at such a vulnerable place in best ball drafts, and vulnerable in a good way though, like where we could take advantage of on Underdog Fantasy promo code Smitty. Go get on over there, guys. Underdog Fantasy, link in the description. Promo code Smitty will get you up to $100 bonus match, dollar for dollar. But like when we're sitting there, Big Tate, and we're looking at Lamar in, let's say, round he sometimes falls to round 4. It's hard to get him there.
Yeah.
But let's say he falls to round 4. London in round 5, and Kyle Pitts is very hard to get him in 6, but sometimes he falls in 6. This is one of the better approaches you could deploy, because if you get those 3 guys and you still have like Kenneth Walker and and Cooper Kupp, or even more. You what?
I'm very curious to see what people feel like Kyle Pitts' value is, especially after how he did this past year. I mean, even if he gets Lamar, are people still going to hate on him because he's Kyle Pitts and he's just busted last year? Or do you think the whole narrative changes? I mean, I know you have him on your movement list, same with London, but I just want to know, you think everybody's on that as well, or you think you're going to be able to steal him later in the draft?
I think if Lamar goes to Atlanta, everyone's all of a sudden acting as if they've been on the Kyle Pitts train the entire time. They never got off the train.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're going to be like, we just waiting for a quarterback. It's all we've been waiting for. Yeah, right. You're sitting back on your hands, bro. Not you, Big Tate, but everybody else. The doubter in the audience right now that's banging on the keyboard now. Keyboard tough guy saying Kyle Pitts is garbage. Kyle Pitts is a bust. Kyle Pitts had the best rookie season for a tight end in the history of the NFL.
Just didn't get touchdowns. That's the only thing that.
But he still
didn't get the touchdowns.
But he still had the best rookie season ever for a tight end, regardless, especially fantasy football. But it's like here's the thing: is like we can't use last year when Marcus Mariota wasn't throwing him the football all year. When I say that, I mean they're on the field at the same time, and you didn't get Kyle Pitts involved at all. Marcus Mariota was not the answer. We didn't get a chance to even see him with a boring, mundane, very average Ritter. Ritter would have done numbers for him.
London was on the rise with Ritter. London looked really good the last few years.
So I'm not worried about Ritter because Ritter's good enough. We've seen him. He's like, I don't know. And I hate to say this because I don't want people to think I don't like Derek Carr. Derek Carr as a Raider wasn't effective because the Raiders sucked. And I think it's the important takeaway is that that Devontae Adams exploded. Josh Jacobs had an amazing year, but the defense was so bad it put Carr in very bad situations, and Carr was always in a bad spot because this defense was bottom 4 the entire reign of Derek Carr. And so, my point being that Derek Carr gets this bad rap. He's not a good quarterback. He's garbage. He's trash, whatever. Trash can emoji. Drop the trash can emoji over and over and over. I see it all the time. But Ritter feels like, you could get similar production out of him in an offense where, maybe he's not winning games. Maybe he's not the best NFL player, but he's producing stats. He's making London good. He's making Pitts good. I think Ritter's good enough to do like Derek Carr things on the field in a Raiders uniform. But, man, if you put Lamar in there, it's a different ballgame. Number one, we've seen what Lamar does with a tight end. He that didn't sound good, but, whatever. We're excited. Let's hit the Moon Man button on that note.
The Moon Man.
To the moon.
Dropping loads and
Look, we know what Lamar can do with said position. Okay? What do I got this up here for? Hold on. I gotta change screens again. But Lamar turned Mark Andrews into a monster. And so, we know he can do that with Kyle Pitts. He did fairly well with Hollywood Brown, but Hollywood Brown was not. London's way better than Hollywood Brown. And Hollywood Brown was like borderline. I don't know what he finished that year. Was he like 12 or 10? Or like, what does anybody know the stat on Hollywood the year before the Ravens traded him, or his last year in Baltimore? He was a pretty high scoring.
I think he was 6 last time I remember. Like, he was really, really high.
That sounds high, but let's just be conservative and say like 12. I don't know if 6 was right, but I mean, when people say Lamar can't make a wide receiver, I think it's unfair to Lamar. I think Lamar's never been given an elite talent. And so give him a London, give him a Kyle Pitts, give him an offense that wants to throw, give him a coaching staff, offensive coordinator, and club that says, hey, Lamar, we want you around for a while. So let's dial back your running a little bit. We're not, we want you to be you. We're not trying to control you one single bit, but we just want you to feel like we want you to last, bro. We want you to stay healthy. Your PCL, like his knee injury was so bad that I'm sure he's kind of thinking things over a little bit. Like, oh, maybe I should kick back a little bit more in the pocket and maybe not run every time. Maybe slide. Maybe run out of bounds more. Maybe runs are different. Maybe my team shouldn't want me to run for 1,000 yards. Maybe my team should want me to scramble when it's appropriate, get 800 yards, 700 yards, and run maybe 150 times, 135 times instead of 200 times. And if he's got Kyle Pitts in London, what he loses in rushing yards, which I don't think he can do at Baltimore because they don't enable him, they don't support him, they don't provide him with talent. What he loses in rushing in Atlanta by running less, and maybe he doesn't even run less, but he would gain back in passing. Same thing in Miami. If he went to Miami for whatever weird reason, God, I would love it. He would turn into a top 1 to 5 quarterback. He could have He could be the number 1 fantasy football quarterback in Miami. Anybody could that's at an elite level.
Well, Smitty, you saw Lamar this past season when he had Bateman as his number 1 receiver. He was throwing 3 touchdowns, passing and running for 100 plus in the first 3 or 4 games, scoring 40 plus fantasy. I mean, you throw London and you throw Pitts there as well. He has better weapons overall. I think their run game is a bit. I don't know if it's a lot better than the Ravens. I think
the Ravens want to run, but
Edwards and yeah.
Two super chats.
He goes ATL.
Yeah, well, 2 super chats real quick. Big Tate, hang tight. Considering Kamara, at Saints to the moon. Benjamin, maybe. I think the Saints probably draft somebody like Bigsby, or they'll bring somebody in to kind of, I think, potentially replace Kamara if they're worried about that. But a good point. I mean, definitely on the lookout for what rookie lands in New Orleans and what free agent could go. Like Kareem Hunt, I really think Kareem Hunt I could see Kareem Hunt in New Orleans. I don't know why. I could just see it. Kendre Miller, thoughts on best ball? Love him, bro. Kendre Miller's a round 12. AJ, where'd you get him last? Round 12, round 14, round 13? There are very few players in the double-digit rounds that I say to myself, woo! You know what I mean? You draft him, and, Miss Smitty's sleeping next to me, and I got the phone up. It's 2 a.m. I'm doing a best ball draft on Underdog Fantasy. Promo code Smitty. Get up to $100 bonus match. But I'm sitting there next to Miss Smitty, and Kendra Miller falls to me at my 13 pick. I take a little risk. I let him go one more round, loop around, snake over, and he's still sitting there at round 13, round 14. I just give out a little, woo! Shh, be quiet. Woo! What's Ron Navy going live? What is going on here? Hold on, I gotta click on this. Oh. All right. I got an alert on Instagram. It said going live. I got it. Okay. But then I saw Ron Navy. I thought Ron Navy was going live. I was like, wait, Ron doesn't go live. Ron actually sat on his phone. Ron, I thought you were saying you're going live. All right. Hey, Big Tate, what else you got here? I was
going to say a quick thing about Rodgers. So you were just saying that Carr, Devontae Adams was going off, Josh Jacobs was going off, but Carr was put in a situation because of how bad the defense was where he couldn't finish out those games. Do you think if they bring in Rodgers, he would really be able to make that difference and take him over the top? I know Rodgers and Devontae Adams had that connection, but that defense is so bad. Do you think they'll be able to overcome that? Personally, I think Rodgers, for the better offense and the better team, just better team, not the better offense. Better team, I think the Jets would be a better fit for Aaron Rodgers. But if you're talking about the better offense, then the Raiders would have the better offense. Correct me if you feel different.
The Raiders better offense. Raiders better offense than which team?
Than the Jets offense.
I don't think so. I don't think so. I mean, you could argue it. I would definitely not send you on a lap. I could flip the script on myself and argue either side, just to be clear. But I think, bro, you got the Rookie of the Year in Garrett Wilson. You got a guy in Rookie of the Year, Breece Hall candidate that would have maybe beat out Garrett Wilson. You've got a number one defense that's going to support the offense and put them in good field position. You got Elijah Moore, who before Garrett Wilson landed on that team, we all kind of had a thought in our mind, and I don't think we should let it go entirely yet, that this guy could be a legit number one for any team. Like Elijah Moore, maybe a low-end wide receiver one for any team, but he had low-end wide receiver one potential. Now everybody's ready to write him off. Give him Aaron Rodgers, and I think Elijah Moore is better than Renfro, better than, a number of options over there. Matt Collins is gone, I think, but he could come back, but I think he's a restricted free agent, or unrestricted free agent. But I don't think Waller can't stay healthy. Josh Jacobs could get franchise tagged and brought back, but give me Hall over Josh Jacobs all day. I don't care what Josh Jacobs did last year, and repeating that's going to be a tough task. But give me Hall, give me Garrett Wilson, give me Elijah Moore. So Hall, Garrett Wilson, Elijah Moore over Jacobs and Adams and whatever. I mean, that's just me. It's close though. You could totally argue it, but I don't think I could say no, that's better than this. I would just say like you're picking at something that's really, really close and arguable. But I will say this, that it's way better if the offenses are that close, bro. Like, let's say I'm wrong. Let's say the Raiders offense is a better situation. Would you rather have that or have what some would say is slightly lesser, but with the chance of it being better, and having the number one or number two defense in the entire National Football League?
Yeah, you're also looking at the division. You're going against Mahomes, Herbert, and I guess Russell Wilson in one division, and then the other you're going against
Patriots,
Josh Allen.
Yeah.
Patriots,
The both divisions are horrible, to look at like that. But at the same time, you look at the Broncos, you look at the Chargers, and they're both potentially vulnerable to a bad year. Miami Dolphins have, if they ride with Tua, they're going to a party, bro. It's like they're going to a long weekend partying with one pair of underwear. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's how I feel about you. Ride into another season with Tua as your quarterback. You might be good for a little bit, bro. But at some point, you're going to need to change. And you got nothing else.
You won't remember it either, Smitty. From all those concussions, you won't remember it either.
Yeah, you won't. So, I don't know. I say go in with at least 2 pairs of underwear, or go in with a stronger set of underwear. One that's not paper thin, because that's like having underwear with like holes in it and stuff. It's good, it's trusty. You love it, but it's gonna leave you hanging at the end of the day. It's gonna rip right open. So anyway, back. So Miami, and the Patriots. The Patriots thought that they could draft 2 tight ends and no wide receivers, and they still think that. And the 2 tight ends are Jonnu Smith and Hunter Henry. So, like, I as much as I love Bill Belichick, as much as I think Bill Belichick could always be in the mix, I don't believe in Mac Jones. They aren't getting him wide receivers. Maybe they go get DeAndre Hopkins from my Cardinals somehow. Maybe they make a change and provide a decent pass catcher. But, bro, it wouldn't shock me one single bit if we leave the NFL draft and free agency and they literally have no wide receivers, but maybe they bring in like let me go to the wide receiver free agent board right here. I was making it tonight. Here's the wide receiver free agent board, and if I'm missing somebody, please somebody tell me. I'll be happy to add it if I'm missing anything. But Jacoby Myers is probably gone, right? They bring in a washed up, injury prone Odell, maybe Lazard. I could see Lazard going to New England, and he's nothing to Juju. Who knows? Robert Woods. There's nobody here. So if they leave the NFL draft and they don't spend a high draft pick on a wide receiver, 14, are they gonna draft Jackson Smith and Jigba? And if they do, guess what? I don't like Jackson Smith and Jigba as much at all. They draft Quentin Johnson. I don't like Quentin Johnson as much all of a sudden. Like, this is a place where wide receivers go to wither away. At least right now. Maybe it changes. So.
N'Keal Harry was drafted by them a few years ago,
and I loved him.
He was pretty good at ASU.
I loved him, bro. I've never been. Yeah. I was so wrong on him, and I felt like I didn't have control. Like, that's why I don't trust him anymore. I don't trust. Like, I was a receiver I liked and I missed on because I thought N'Keal Harry was gonna be amazing. I really did. I'm not ashamed to admit it. He landed in a garbage spot and got ruined in New England. So any receiver goes to New England, I'm pretty much writing him off. I don't want to have anything to do with a New England wide receiver. I just don't.
Yeah,
especially
the only fantasy option that I like on New England is Ramondre Stevenson.
Mm-hmm.
And Belichick hates fantasy, so that's the last thing he cares about.
And even Ramondre's, you're a little worried about it, because Bill Belichick drafts 2 or 3 rookie running backs. So, expect that. Expect a Bigsby. Expect a Kendre Miller. And especially the way running backs fall. Good God, bro. We could see like a A-Chain or a relatively big name rookie, Richardson. I feel like we could see some big name, relatively big name running back fall in that spot. And then it's like, then you're going to be like, oh my God, now what are we going to do? How is this going to affect them? Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, bro. Appreciate you calling in. Call in anytime, Big Tate. Good comments. The chat loves you. And we need to hear. Man. We need to hear more from you.
Of course, man. I actually DM'd you recently to get added to the Phoenix group chat.
You're Phoenix?
Whenever you get to it. I'm from Phoenix, so I was wanting to get added on whenever you do any like pop-out shows or anything like that. I would be like to come out and see you.
Can you send me another message real quick, and let me see if I can get it bumped up, because I get so many messages, man.
Definitely understandable.
Is your name in it?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's Habibi_Cave.
Okay. I'll look for it, bro. Appreciate you.
I just sent you another message so I can shoot back up to the top.
All right, let's see here. I'll look for it, and then I'll add you to that group. I had no idea you're in Arizona.
Yeah, no, Arizona's one of the best states to live in, man. One of the most slept on states to live in, really.
Yep, best. ASU is the best campus too. Hey, Charles, I might miss your call here. Hold on. Charles wants to get in on here. Charles, what's up, my guy? You're live with Big Tate and your boy Smitty. Hello, Charles.
Hey, what's up, man? This is Carl.
What's up, Charles?
How you doing?
Is it Carl or Charles?
Oh, come on, not Carl. I knew you had me in Carl, but it's Charles.
No, I got you as Charles. Is Pam or Pan?
Oh, okay. It's Charles.
Pan. Just kidding. You haven't seen Step Brothers, bro?
I think I have, yeah.
Remember when it hit Pam? Her name's Pam, and she's interviewing him, and she goes, "My name's Pam." Pam. And he goes, "Pan?" Oh, Pan. P-A-N, yeah. Pan. She goes, "It's Pam."
Yeah.
All right. Charles, what can we do for you?
Hey, so where do you think Baker's going to land this year?
Baker. Disappointment maker. Okay, so let's just map this out real quick.
He's a free agent.
Let's say Aaron Rodgers stays in Green Bay. Let's say Jordan Love goes to the Saints. Let's say Derek Carr goes to the Jets. Lamar goes to the Falcons. Baker. Colt maker? Baker, Tampa Bay Buccaneer maker? I don't know. I don't know if he's going to get a starting job or not. He's definitely in the mix for it. I mean, Danny Dimes probably getting franchise tag. Geno Smith probably in Seattle. Mike White, Jimmy G, Baker, Tyler Huntley probably fighting for the Colts, Panthers. Obviously not the Panthers for Baker, but Saints, Bucks. I mean, all those teams will be in play. Baker to the Cardinals. You know, who knows if he doesn't get a starting job, maybe he can get a halftime starting job.
Right.
Baker can go anywhere but the Raiders, says Andrew. AJ says Baker stays with the Rams. I mean, tough to say. Baker, Buckmaker.
How's Stafford's injury, Smitty?
He'll be fine, I think, this year. I think he'll be okay. But we'll find it. We'll probably hear some updates soon. We haven't heard much, but I'm guessing he'll be ready to go. It's kind of weird that everybody wrote him off. Like the Rams win a Super Bowl, they come in and have a disastrous year. Like just crap the bed harder than I've ever seen a Super Bowl team crap it. But like Cooper Kupp got hurt, Stafford was injured, and then like it's almost like people are acting like Stafford like passed away. They're like, yeah, you know, Stafford, this team's going to look horrible next year. It's like, I mean, Stafford got it done. Like, who's to say they can't kind of bounce back? Maybe not win the Super Bowl, but be like a top 12 team. I mean, they certainly could. But I wouldn't bet on it. But I think it's funny no one gives him a shot or Stafford a shot at even keeping his job, let alone doing okay, you know?
So do you think the Bears will trade JF1 away, since he's been reporting that he doesn't like being playing in a outdoor stadium? He'd rather be playing in a dome. Do you think they would do that? See, this is weird though. Like, and I'm glad you asked this question because a lot of people ask this. So don't think I'm coming down on your question. But it's so weird to me that people actually think that the Bears are considering trading him away because of the way he answered a question. You know, like a lot of people frame it that way. They're like, "Do you think because he said he doesn't like playing in the, like they're not gonna trade him away because of that reason?" But do I think the Bears would trade him away? I mean, we've talked about this in extensive detail, and looking at the draft board, I proposed this question to a lot of Bears fans that say there's no way that the Bears will trade Fields away. And I've said it. I've answered that question or talked about this topic two different ways.
in terms of like supporting why the Bears would trade him away. Number one, do you hear? Let's see. Okay, so Jalen Hurts was very doubted, right? Even his own team. Like let's give Sirianni his flowers, but let's also be critical about Sirianni in that he wouldn't support like openly Jalen Hurts for a little while, and there's for a couple years straight rumors about drafting a quarterback. This is his last shot. Like a bunch of disrespectful stuff that not all came from his mouth, but he allowed the media to portray it that way. He never set the record straight. He never came out and said, this is my quarterback. And that was kind of, in my opinion, wrong. That was a wrong way to approach it because you need to back your quarterback. Don't you feel like now, if someone asked, is Jalen Hurts your guy? The answer is going to be, what do you think, moron? You know, don't you think that's going to be the response of Sirianni or any of the staff if ever questioned? Is Hurts are you banking on Hurts for the future? Do you think he's a starter? Is he your starter? Don't you think now Hurts has earned that, right? For the Bears not to be in that positioning and taking that stance is a confidence blow. It's also you're questioning a little bit your quarterback. If you're literally saying and I know it's smoke season, I don't need to hear that from people. I get it. You're trying to posture to trade away the number one overall pick. But I got news for you. You don't need to dress it up. It's the number one overall pick, and there are two quarterbacks, and you're going to get plenty of bites for it. There's no reason to pretend and play house and be like, hey, we're going to pretend to be a team that needs a quarterback. You know, let's run that out there. It's only going to do so much to the value. So for you to go out as the Bears, for polls to come out and say, we may draft a quarterback, we're not ruling it out. That to me is a kick to the nuts for Justin Fields, his confidence, everything. It tells me there's a vulnerability though. Even if they ultimately don't want to do it, the fact that you can even play this game out in front of the media and what are you going to do? Say, this is like, I gave an example earlier. This is like, girl finally says that she'll date you in high school, but she won't hold your hand at school. She tells you, I'm not going to hold your hand in the hallways, but I'll date you. We can be boyfriend and girlfriend, but when we're in public, we got to pretend like we're single. That's what that feels like when you're like, well, maybe draft a quarterback. Hey, Fields, we're not going to do it in public. We're not holding your hand. That's how it feels to me. So there's my argument, as that there's more of a crack there between the two than people say. Second, I propose that if you were to give, if the Texans were to give the 2 and the 12 overall pick for Fields, you're telling me you can't then turn that 2 into, let's say, the Detroit Lions 6 and 18, let's say, and you kick back another second later. Okay, so now you have the number 1. You don't have the 2 anymore. You have the number 6. You have the number 18, and you have the number 12, all for trading Justin Fields. I mean, you had the 1 anyway. Now you take Stroud. Now you take Bijan. Now you take Jackson Smith and Jigba. And then you take with this 20 pick or this 18 pick, the best offensive lineman or whatever you want to pick that you could find in the draft. Like, you're telling me you can't build an elite team with that build style. Like, give me a break. Don't tell me there's a 0% chance the Bears could make one trade to get like the 2 and 12 and turn it with one more trade into something even greater. Like, you could easily win in 2 years with that build.
Right. I mean, this is the same Bears team that traded up to 2 spot and got Trubisky. So
True. Ron Navy's on the line. Ron Navy, you're live with Big Tate and Charles.
Hey, what's up, guys?
What's up?
What's up, man?
how you doing?
I'm hanging in there.
What do you think about the Bears, Ron? You think they're 100% not trading Fields, or do you think there's... And again, I don't think, if anybody would ask me, I'm telling you, I don't think they trade Fields, but I'm just arguing that when people say there's no chance, I just think that, why aren't you supporting him then? Why are you trying to play house right now with your draft pick and act like it's going to do anything to the value? It's the number one overall pick. You're not going to have a problem moving it because you want to admit you have Fields as your starting quarterback already. You know, like, it doesn't dumb down the value. It's like having a home. You could list in a really good housing market if let's say your house is worth $250,000, you could literally say, well, I'll take 240 if someone, you could tell every buyer, I'd take 240. And if it's in a booming market, if there's a lot of demand and the supply is your house and the demand is huge, there's 10 people, it doesn't matter if you said that or not. You could say, I'd technically take 200. You could come out and try and ruin your own deal, and there'd be a bidding war, and it would go for $300,000. Like, so it's like this draft pick, there's only one of them. It's one of one. It's the 1.1. They're not going to have a problem selling it. Ron, why are they trying to posture and act like they want to trade Fields if they don't a little bit have concerns about him and where the team's at?
Well, I mean, it's like I said before. You got a new coach. You got a new GM there. Any new coach or GM wants their guy. It's like your guys' new head coach. He went in there and he made it known first day. I'm all about Murray. We're going to build this team around Murray, and
right.
And he said it right there. Why didn't the Bears do the same thing? We're all in on Field. We're going to build this team around Field. So anything, I wouldn't say it's not in the realm of them possibly trading him. I mean, it's a possibility. I mean, but I think it'll happen. I don't think so, maybe, but it could.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think it's going to happen, but I believe that your point about Kyler Murray is exactly hammering home my point, is that if this guy could come in and say, to try and up the value of the 3 pick, we don't know who our quarterback is. We're to come in and evaluate everything. But he didn't. He said, the reason I took this job is because of Kyler Murray. We're building around Kyler Murray. He doesn't care about the optics of the potential statement and how it affects the trade value of the number 3 overall. He's trying to give Kyler Murray, who's in a bad spot right now, confidence and belief in his coach. And the same thing should have, as much as Sirianni did amazing this year, Sirianni had a misstep for 2 years straight, not backing Jalen Hurts publicly and making Jalen Hurts live in a world where probably put a chip on his shoulder at the end of the day. It probably helped him. But he made Jalen Hurts live in a world where there was doubt all around him constantly. And everybody's saying, this is it. If he got A.J. Brown now, if he doesn't do it now, he's never going to do it. And we kept saying, Moon Man, to the moon. You keep doubting, all you Jalen Hurts doubters. We don't doubt. We love the guy. We believe in him. And Sirianni couldn't say that. And I think that does damage, So it's stupidity to not tell Justin Fields he's your starting quarterback. And are we drafting a quarterback? Do you ask that of the Chiefs? That's what I would say. If I was the coach of the Chicago Bears and someone said, are you drafting a quarterback? I go, do you ask Andy Reid if he's drafting a quarterback? I didn't think so. We believe in our quarterback. We think he's a top 5 quarterback. Now get out of here. Ask another question. That's what I'd say. And I'd say, you know what, Bears, we got the number 1 pick. Come get it. Come get it. Highest bidder. Who wants Stroud? I'll tell you what, we got Fields. If we didn't have Fields, we would take Stroud right now. Like, pump it up. You can pump it up in different ways. What do you guys think? Real quickly, I'm not going to stay live much longer. I was just testing something out earlier, and I decided to go live real quick. But Ron, where does let's see here. Who do the Eagles take a running back in the first round, either at 10 or 30? I think it's either Bijan or Gibbs, but I do believe they take one. Do you feel like the Eagles draft a big name running back, either one of those guys, or like a Charbonnet in round 2 or something? I forget what their second round draft picks are, or if they have multiple. But what do you predict for the Eagles in terms of that running back spot? Miles Sanders is off, headed toward free agency. What are they doing?
I think if they're going to take one, they'll take one with their last pick in the 30th.
30 pick?
If they're going to take Gibbs Bijan will be gone by then. I don't think they'll take one early. I think they'll probably take maybe a receiver or something like that, maybe with their early pick, and then take a running back later on.
Big Tate.
What?
Big Tate, I'm going to let you jump. End it on a high note here. I'm gonna end it on a high note.
Yeah.
What does Philly do?
I think Philly takes a running back definitely. If it's the 30th pick and Bijan is there, they're hammering that. But I also agree with. I don't think Bijan's going to last that long.
Yeah.
I definitely do think they definitely take a running back. If Miles Sanders is on his way out, Gainwell is there, but I don't think Gainwell is enough. They definitely need a secondary back, and it's either Gibbs or Bijan. I think they take.
Yeah, I like your thinking. It's like finding a brick of gold on the street. You gonna leave it there? No. Bijan's getting smashed. If he's anywhere in like the 27, 28, 29, 30, 31 range. Like honestly, if Casey took Clyde with the very last pick, I believe, in the first round when Clyde was a rookie, wouldn't shock me if Casey did some kind of weird thing again. Like if Bijan or Gibbs were there, it wouldn't shock me. It wouldn't. I know they love Pacheco, and I just did a live stream on Pacheco today. But in my live stream on Pacheco, I very much talk about the concerns I have for the way they rotate out these RBs and have not leaned upon a consistent running back since the big days. When Andy Reid used to churn out Kareem Hunts and Jamal Charles type players, and now it's like, as much as we love Pacheco, tough to say what they do. But anyway, my point being 27, 28, 29, 30, 31. If Bijan's there, even Dallas at 26, even if they franchise tag Tony Pollard, they would be crazy, and this would suck. We would be so down if Bijan slipped in the draft and kept falling. Let's say he runs a slower 40 time, and he fell at 26. We're gonna be heartbroken if Bijan goes to the Dallas Cowboys and we have Tony Pollard and Bijan fighting for carries. We're gonna, that's assuming they release Zeke, but they're probably restructuring Zeke similar to how Aaron Jones got restructured in Green Bay. So maybe they'll have too much tied up in the running back position and they can't do that. But I don't think Bijan's falling past 18. Detroit at 18 would be dumb to not select Bijan Robinson. I don't know how I feel about that over other landing spots because, Swift is still going to command some work and all that. I'm not saying it's the best landing spot, but there's no way Bijan could fall. I think he should be going 10. Like the Eagles would be crazy not to take him at 10. This is Adrian Peterson. Big Tate, I appreciate you, pal.
Yeah, man. Thank you so much, man.
All right,
Have a great rest of your night. We'll
call in anytime. Charles, what happens with the Eagles?
So, I think they should take a running back because I think they pretty much got the wide receivers already locked. I don't think they need wide receivers, but I think he might go to Detroit because I think Detroit might get rid of Swift because he wasn't really doing anything this year. So that's my opinion.
Yeah, I hear you, bro. So what's your final prediction? You got to predict something. Who is it? Who's landing on the Philadelphia Eagles squad as the RB 2023?
I think it's Bijan Swift. What's this? Bijan.
At 10?
Yeah.
I like it. That's what I want.
Of course. That's what they got to do. So.
Yeah. And if they don't get him, let's look up, let's see here. Eagles second round picks 2023. Looks like Eagles draft picks, let's see. Second round pick, they have their own pick. So they have their own pick in the second round. I think that's correct. I hope this is correct. Eagles 2023 draft picks. I think this is correct. So they have their own second round pick. They have their own third round pick. They have their own. They don't have a fourth round pick. They don't have a fifth round pick. They don't have a sixth round pick. They have two seventh round picks.
Yeah, you gotta pull that trigger and get the running back.
So
you're not gonna get anything else after that. So.
Yeah, because if they only own their own second round pick, that means they're looking at this 30 pick in round 2. Because it doesn't snake, obviously, if anybody doesn't know that, where you've been. But the NFL draft doesn't snake, so they'd have the 30th pick in the second round, and it's like, Who are you going to draft? That you're going to get another, Miles Sanders or Kenny Gainwell at that point.
Right.
All right, my guy Charles. I'll see you later, pal. Call in anytime. We appreciate your good conversation.
Hey, no problem.
And we'll see you later.
You have a good one.
Ron Navy. Any final thoughts?
You know what? Yeah, you know what I was thinking though is if Philly don't use that 10 pick on a running back, which I think they very easily could go receiver, they could go defense, they could do a couple different things with that pick. But who's sitting at 29 right in front of them? New Orleans. If he goes, what running back did you say is the next Kamara? Gibbs.
Yeah.
So would you think that New Orleans take Gibbs? They're ahead of Philly, so I don't know. I was looking at that.
Yeah. Every
I
team
did have another.
Every team in the 20s should be drafting Gibbs. Every team in the 20s should be. Of course, Jacksonville. We don't want that. I'm not saying that. And if New York retains Barkley, but you know what I'm saying. Like if any team that's in need of a running back in the 20s should be considering Gibbs. He's that good. He's that dynamic. So I think the same territory where we said if Bijan did slip into the 20s, that 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, I think that's a vulnerable place for, or I should say, a advantageous place to snag both Breece Hall and Gibbs if Breece Hall's still there. But if he's gone,
it's crazy because what happens if Barkley ends up, they trade him and he goes to a different team and the Giants move up or do something and they grab Bijan or Gibbs, Barkley's replacement?
Yeah, well, Barkley probably no chance he gets traded because no one's gonna want to give up draft capital for him on top of the big contract. But if he doesn't get tagged, and they tag Danny Dimes and they let Barkley walk, if that's what you meant, then yeah. Let's say Barkley goes somewhere else. Yeah, I mean, you gotta bet that the Giants would be strongly considering going after an RB. But here's what I think could happen. If Charbonnet goes out there and just it blows everybody away at the combine, he might be the second running back drafted. And so then you got all these teams in this 26 to 20 to 30 territory considering Charbonnet. Maybe Gibbs falls to the top of round 2. I would love to see. It's gonna be interesting to see what the Bears do. Do the Bears have their own second rounder? The 2.1. Let's see here. Bears 2023 draft picks. Let's see what the Bears have. They have the 53 overall. So they don't have their own second round pick. So that Baltimore's pick. So that 53 overall. So they can't. They're I mean, you never know. Charbonnet could last that long. You don't know. It's crazy how running backs fall. I
have a feeling we're going to have a lot of movement from all the way through all these. I think there's going to be a lot of maneuvering by a lot of teams in this draft. A lot of jumping around.
Travis says, "Is Bijan better than Swift?" Absolutely, bro. It's like not even close. I still love Swift's skill set. He reminds me a lot of talent-wise, he's like, you could say he's as good as a Kamara talent-wise, but like he doesn't have the ability to stay healthy. His team doesn't believe in him. They're going to probably draft a running back. We keep talking about him drafting a running back. So if Bijan landed in Detroit, they would probably give Bijan almost more work than he could handle. I don't know that. I think at the end of the day, I'd get behind it. But it's going to be a little bit of a Swift kick to the nads if Bijan goes to a place that even remotely seems clouded or crowded. Cloudy or crowded. So, I don't want it. You don't want it. None of us want it. But like if he went there, Swift isn't holding Bijan back that much. Smitty, what's the lowest possible you see Bijan fall? I think the highest he goes is like number 7, 6, 7, 8, 9. That what I call Bijan row. The 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. It's just a string of picks. All of them are capable of taking Bijan. If Bijan's draft value increases, if he runs a faster 40 time than people think, goes out and runs a 4.44, you know, give him a triple 4, give him trips. If he goes out and runs a 4.44 instead of like a 4.55 or something like that, you might see, because it's enough to bump, even though it shouldn't be, because the 40 time's not all that important. In the grand scheme of things, I know what my eyes tell me. Bijan's going to dominate the next level. But if he goes out and runs a 4.4, you know what it says? It's not so much about the number. It's about this guy went out, worked his tail off, didn't run a 4.4 when he came out of college, and now he runs a 4.4. What's that say about his work ethic? What's that say about the physicality of the guy? What's it say about his ability to get better, stronger, and become a better athlete if he can go into the 4.4 territory when he's not projected to run a 4.42 or 4.43 or 4.4 flat or something like that? Like, if he comes out and does that, everyone's going to say, unbelievable ability this guy has, and he's going to be transcendent, you know? So if he falls out of this 10 spot, 12, even though Dameon Pierce is there in Houston and I like him, that's a spot where he could go. He's not going to New York. If he went to New York, I don't know what I'd do. I think I'd retire. New England, God, I hope not. I hope not. Like, there's always a team that spoils it, you know, for the player. Like we were talking about earlier, N'Keal Harry. I love N'Keal Harry. I admittedly loved N'Keal Harry. And Bill Belichick in New England destroyed him. Just completely destroyed him. So if Jackson Smith and Jigba goes to New England, I'm out. I don't want anything to do with New England wide receivers. Green Bay, they're not taking an RB. They just restructured Aaron Jones. Washington, they've got a lot of RBs there. I can't see it. Pittsburgh, Ron, you could probably speak this better than I could. I don't see it. You've got 2 running backs there. There's too many other needs that they're going to, even if Bijan fell there, they probably want to.
No, they're not going to utilize a high draft pick. Detroit
at 18, I think they could take him at 6. So 18, I think they would. Any second guessing they'd be like, let's get back. We can't see that. You can't see this happening again. Let's grab him. So I'd say Detroit. Detroit feels like the lowest that Bijan would go. Baltimore or Detroit, 22 or 18. I cannot see him going past 22. I cannot see it. I think that every time Bijan skipped from like 7 on, I think you have a building what is going on here vibe, you know, and I think everyone's going to feel that pressure of, are we going to be the team that keeps passing, that keeps the trend going, passing on Bijan, because he's literally a top 10 pick. So 22 is my cutoff. If he falls past 22, I'm just gonna end the live stream and walk away.
Now, I wanted to talk about a player that you haven't talked about, but I know that you've been looking at, and that is Oklahoma running back Eric Gray, who got like a 6.1 yards per carry, over 1,366 yards, 35 catches, 200 and some yards. He's a strong. He's good down the goal line. He's good in open. He's elusive, but he doesn't have the breakaway speed. So he's hard to tackle, but he can be caught up to. He doesn't have breakaway speed. What do you think?
Yeah, the only thing it's never that I don't like these guys, like your guy Tyler Scott. It's not that I don't like some of them. It's more so like with guys that fall outside the purview of you know the big boy table. Then all of a sudden they're looked at and perceived differently by NFL scouts and clubs, and then they don't really have an open pathway. So it's more like a prospect pick. If his combine has him vaulted into the tier of the Bigsbys, let's say, then all of a sudden he's somebody we start talking about. Same thing with Tyler Scott. If his combine puts him in the big boy conversation, then all of a sudden we have more. It's not that I believe that a player can't overcome a bad draft capital positioning. It's that the NFL is very old school with that. Like, it's weird. You know, if you don't get drafted early, teams don't value you. It's crazy. It's weird. It's dumb. And then you have rare instances like Tom Brady's and Arian Foster's undrafted free agent. They do come along, and it takes a very special coach like Vermeil and Kurt Warner, and all those, things need to line up for the player to have that ability to overcome the bad draft capital. So in the case of Gray, if he gets into the conversation of being a guy that's not a change of pace, you start hearing change of pace, then it's great. He's not going to get drafted into a place to start, but maybe he's a project or prospect that you stash, and then if injuries open the door, he's like that guy that you're like, oh my God, this guy came out of nowhere. Well, you knew he was there. You just knew he wasn't going to get a fair shot in the beginning. So we'll see where he gets ranked. I don't think he's I'm looking at some prospect rankings across the industry. And, let's see.
I mean, he looks good on tape.
Yeah.
He looks great down on the goal line. I mean, you give him the ball down the goal line. He's physical. He looks great. And then he's hard to tackle. He just doesn't have breakaway speed. So when he hits the holes and stuff and he gets away, he can get good chunks of yardage, but he doesn't have that breakaway speed.
Yeah.
Kind of like Najee, right? Najee can run over some people and he can get chunks of yards, but he doesn't have the breakaway speed either.
Yeah. So, on a consensus amount of running back rankings, Gray is not even, let's see, 1, 2, 3. He's in almost nobody's top 12 running backs. So that puts you in a real tough spot to climb, up. Like Chase Brown, Roshan Johnson, Kendre Miller's even having a tough time cracking some people's top 10, across the board. And I love Kendre Miller. Kendre Miller could end up falling into that same problem. But I have a feeling his combine is going to rise his stock. Spears, very quick running back, but not that small, but smaller. Sean Tucker, all those guys they're susceptible to fall out of a high ranking. Dwayne McBride, he's either going to be in the top 5 or 6, or he could be 12.
You would think that some of these guys will probably either, if they don't get drafted and they're not, some of them will go to the XFL and USFL and maybe make a name for themselves there, and then they'll get a chance in the NFL sooner or later, I'm guessing.
You know who I like in the same territory as Gray? Because Gray's about, I'd say across the industry, I'd say Gray's about 14 to 18 for running backs. And this guy's in the same territory, is Kenny McIntosh. Kenny McIntosh is 6'1", 210. Arguably the first or second best wide receiver or receiving running back in the draft class. And he has such a ability, I think, to pull in. He had 10 rushing touchdowns. He had 829 on the ground. He had 43 receptions for 504 yards. Real good receiving back. Really, really good. So, if he went to, somewhere like Kansas City to replace, McKinnon in a way or something, and they use Pacheco McKinnon, could be interesting. But he's definitely... Another guy's Deuce Vaughn. But I don't really love Deuce Vaughn because he's 176 pounds and he's 5'6". So while he's an exciting college player, I kind of leave him there and say, great college player, exciting, but I don't know that this guy's got the ability to be the next Darren Sproles. Those come along very rarely, and as I mentioned earlier, you got to have the right fit of coach and belief in a young, small player. You're going to have a lot of coaches say he's too small to be a every down back, and then he's not going to get a shot. But all it takes is one coach. But this guy had 1,500 yards rushing, 9 touchdowns, 42 receptions for 378. But McIntosh is a better receiving prospect. But this guy, he's exciting. He's quick, but he's 176 pounds, 5'6", bro. That's, there's kids bigger than that. There's kids just turning like 14 years old that are bigger than this guy, playing.
Yeah.
He's tiny.
Every time you take the computer.
You what?
I think of a computer when you say Macintosh.
Yeah. Macintosh. All right, Ron, I'm gonna jump. I appreciate you coming on, Ron.
All righty, we'll talk to you later.
Later, pal. Appreciate you.
All right, bye.
All right, guys. I'll see you all tomorrow. Probably at some point before the 7 p.m. show. For those that are new, hit the subscribe button. For those that are new, I go live Monday through Friday at 7 p.m. Eastern, the regular show, every single Monday through Friday at 7 p.m. I'm live whenever news breaks, and I do these random midnight live streams all the time. Appreciate you all being here. Roger, I'm not big on Zach Evans, but in the right spot, he could be pretty good. I'll see you all later. Appreciate you. Oh, and thank you for the super chats, AJ, Mr. AJ Lancaster. My man dropping 2 Double super chats today earlier. Appreciate everyone that drops them. Appreciate everybody that's in here. Appreciate Ron Navy's Double super chats the last couple of live streams. Appreciate everybody. I will see you all tomorrow. Thanks, Smitty. We got to get some satellite men. We definitely need to, and we're going to start the Dynasty live streams pretty much every day, or an upload starting tomorrow, hopefully. I'll see you all tomorrow. Kyle, appreciate you being here. Terry in the building. Appreciate you, Terry. Ada, Hod, George, Javi's in the building. Travis Rowe. I nominate Pacheco, JSN Flowers. Okay. Let's see here. Just checking my voicemails. All right. Later, everybody. Appreciate you. People are getting burrowed left and right, and people are going to remember it.
Get burrowed.